about logistical challenges or theological precedents suppressed. Only Peg seemed to recognise the importance of the moment. That devil of a 4-year-old with alert eyes that took in everything. Peg Doyle would need glasses soon, for all the staring she did, and Granny Doyle could summon few greater disappointments than a bespectacled grandchild. In truth, it was her mother's handbag that had Peg's attention, not the bottle of holy water. After a long day of disappointment, when it became clearer that the Pope would not be throwing out free lucky dips into the crowd, Catherine Doyle's handbag was Peg's only hope. It might have a curly-whirly hidden in its folds, or Lego. Perhaps, if Peg was lucky, there might be a book with bright pictures, which her mother would read to her, squatted down on the grass while meaner mammies kept their kids focused on the tiny man on the tiny stage. Peg knew it definitely wouldn't contain her copybook, which was the one treasure she really desired. Since she'd started school a few weeks ago, Peg had come to love her slim copybook, with its blank pages waiting for Peg's precise illustrations to match her teacher's instructions. My home and my mother and the gold star-worthy my street were lovingly rendered in crayon, letters carefully transcribed from the blackboard. Very good, according to Peg's teacher. It would be weird to take homework on a day out, Peg's mother said, as if squishing into a field to squint at a man with a strange hat wasn't weird at all. Peg sighed. The holy water bottle disappeared into the handbag, one quick zip cruelly thwarting Peg's happiness. Her mother didn't notice her gaze, looking instead in the direction of the stage, like all the other grown-ups. That was the way of Peg's parents. They looked where they were supposed to, straight ahead, at the green man, at the telly. Granny Doyle had different kinds of eyes, ones that explored all the angles of a room, eyes that glinted at her now. Peg avoided that gaze and focused on her new leather shoes, both consolation and source of deeper disappointment. On the one hand, the bright black school shoes were the nicest Peg had ever owned. She had endured multiple fittings in Clark's before they found a pair that were shiny enough to impress a pope and sensible enough not to suggest a toddler Jezebel. They were perfect. Except they would be better in the box. They looked so pretty there, Peg thought mournfully, remembering how nicely the tissue paper filled them, how brightly the shoes had shone before the trek across tarmac and the muck of Phoenix Park had got to them. The morning had contained more walking than Peg could remember, and not a bit of it had been pleasant. A blur of torsos that Peg was dragged through, the grass an obstacle course of dew and dirt. Only the thought of the shoebox, the smell of newness still clinging to the tissue, waiting for Peg's nose once she ever got home, kept Peg's spirits up. Soon she would be back in 4 Baldoyle Grove, in her room with its doll's house and shoebox and soft carpet. "Come on, you come with me. We've a long drive ahead of us." The shoebox would have to wait. Granny Doyle had other plans for Peg. The grown-ups had been negotiating while Peg had been daydreaming, and it suddenly became clear that Peg's feet would not be taking her back to 4 Baldoyle Grove that night. Peg looked forlornly up at Granny Doyle's handbag. She knew exactly what it contained. Wooden rosary beads and bus timetables, and certainly not a curly-whirly. Some musty old macaroon bar, perhaps, which Peg would have to eat to prove she wasn't a brat, or some divil sent to break Granny Doyle's heart, an organ that Peg had difficulty imagining. "It'll be a great adventure," Peg heard Granny Doyle say, the slightest touch of honey in her voice before briskness took over with, "Come on now," and, "Ah, don't be acting strange." Acting strange was a popular